नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य मैं अरहंत सम्यक संबुद्ध को प्रणाम करता हूँ. I refuse to Buddha with my body, speech and mind. May I generate the bodhicitta for all session beings through the practice of patience, tolerance, and so forth. So today's topic is, what is the difference between Shravakayana and Mahayana? Uh, we can call easily, like the easiest way, um, Hinayana and Mahayana. So the Hinayana, it's a Sanskrit word. It means hin, small. Yan means vehicle. So the hin, a person who really want to become liberate for himself or herself, which is called the, Hinayana. And the Mahayana, a person who practice out of generating the bodhicitta and the practice of shunyata, emptiness, which called Mahayana. So the Maha means big, Yan means vehicle. So these two things are a little bit complicated, especially for the Indian people, Indian Buddhist, because some of them, they have commented uh, on my videos. Some of them are really confused. What is Mahayana and Hinayana and Tibetan Buddhism, the Tantrayana, Vajrayana, and so forth. But there are two paths Buddha taught after his enlightenment. The first was the first turning wheel of Dhamma after Buddha's enlightenment, and he taught the Four Noble Truths, you know, uh, the Paticca Samutpada, the 12 links we say in Sanskrit, um, Dwadashang, and he talked about Anitya, Dukkha, and Anatta, you know, and he delivered that message as per the audience mindset. You probably heard about, the four, oh, sorry, the five um, disciple, you know, he taught the first, his doctrine in front of them, because Buddha know that what kind of their mentality is, and how the Buddha can deliver his message so that they can understand very easily. uh, it is a little bit difficult because the Buddha's teaching is not only for to um, only for listening. Listening is a very good karma. It doesn't help you to purify your mind, but it helps you to think. We say in Tibetan, tho sam gom. It means first. Tho means first you have to listen first, and then some means, you have to think whatever you have listened, and then kom means you have to practice with. So there are different kind of practice in Buddhism: analytical meditation, shamatha, and vipassana, so forth. uh, yeah, so the five disciples, they did not become arhat after Buddha's teaching. It took time to become that, the highest level. We call it food destroyed in English. So it took time to attain that, the stage of meditation which is completely free from suffering. According to the Mahayana Buddhism, arhat has two kind of layers. First one is the kleshavara, which means, uh, how to say that, ignorance, aversion, and attachment. They completely destroyed it through the practice of shamatha and vipassana. And the other one is gayavaran. So we can see, or we can say like that, you know the arhat is completely free from suffering, but there is something left, which is called the gayavarana. The very subtle level, very subtle layer of the kleshavarana, which is called gayavarana. So that's why, according to you know the Mahayana Buddhism, arhat has left something. And according to the Theravada tradition, there is something. It means there is, no birth again in this samsara, and he is not coming to born in samsara because he is enlightened. And obviously, he is enlightened being, but he is not a Buddha. Arhat is not a Buddha. So it's a belief system, and it comes from your own practice. So the Mahayana practitioner who always think, how can I be free from all suffering? And of course, he or she practice uh, uh, you know the metta, karuna, mudita, and upekha. They really practice that. They have a very good compassion, but their ultimate goal is to free from samsara through the practice of shamatha and vipassana. You probably heard about vipassana, what it is. Especially in India, people are really practicing um, shamatha and vipassana. They go to 10 days vipassana course. They practice, which is taught by the tradition of Sayaji Uba King, and the principal teacher of um, Acharya Sri Acharya Satyanarayan Goenka. And I also have done that vipassana course, and I have been practicing. But it's depend on your mindset. Why are you practicing? What is your goal? What you want to achieve? So achievement, according to the Buddhist philosophy, if I want to achieve something, that doesn't mean I should be attached with my goal. If you are attached with your goal, then how can you be free from all this samsara? Well, the samsara means, overcoming from your hatred, anger, aversion, jealousy. There are a lot of kleshas, Uh, yeah, so the practice, you practice shamatha and vipassana, and there is a one practitioner who practice to become a Buddha for all session beings. So this is the major difference between Hinayana and Mahayana, but we can call it, the Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition as per His Holiness the Dalai Lama guidance. So the Mahayana practitioner who practice generating bodhicitta, and by the practicing of shunyata, then that person become a Buddha in future. So there are, five kind of path, in Tibetan Solam, Jolam, Tholam, Gomlam, and Milolam, and there are 10 kind of bhumis, the grounds, um, which is start from the actual realization path. We call it Thonglam, after the actual realization of Shunyata. So that person never come from samsara, that it's 100% sure that person or the practitioner will become a Buddha in future. Well, he can born in samsara, but not out of kleshas, not out of aversion, ignorance, or how to say that, um, attachment, but he born in samsara to seek for all session beings. So this is the major difference. So some of my friends, they ask me question like, why Buddha did not mention this kind of teaching in Pali tradition? Of course not, because it's depend, as I told you, like it's depend on the audience, and there is a very profound teaching. The sutra, like Heart Sutra, Pragyaparamita Sutra, which is taught by the Buddha, um, in Grudkut, on Vulture Peak. And there were many highly practitioner bodhisattva, mahasattvas, uh, they were, practicing shunyata. So that is the really profound sutra, which is based on, on shunyata, the emptiness. But that sutra we never find like in Pali tradition, right? Because the audience is completely different. So the person who want to become a Buddha for all sentient beings, we can call it Mahayana practitioner. A person who want to become an Arhat, um, of course, Arhat had a very huge compassion, but he or she has not the realization of emptiness and not generating bodhicitta, but yeah, it's a very highest level. So a person who practice for him or herself to become arhat, and the other practitioner is practicing on the basis of shunyata and emptiness to become Buddha. So this is the difference between Hinayana and Mahayana. We can call it um, Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition. Namo Buddha.